Yes, yes, yes. And we're live. This is James Miller with the Bold Leadership Story Show, where we talk about experiences shaping exceptional lives. And I have a different show for you today. I'm going to come at you with something brand new, something I've been working on for a while, probably 40 years, because it has to do with my core uh, DNA, what's inside of me, which is sales and marketing. I love sales and marketing and doing business. And I love helping companies to explore areas where they may not have explored before and to help them to grow. And I'm excited because I've got some things to share that might just move the needle for some of you out there. And I know it's been helping move the needle for a few companies I've been working with one on one. And with that success, I've taken those core concepts and fundamentals and created a course that I'm going to be offering, and it's exciting because it's 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 so basic and so fundamental and so simple yet so powerful that anybody could take it. Even if it's coming from me, it's pretty simple, but it's it's successful because there's heart in it. And if there's one thing that I've learned over the years, it's that following a process and having a system is the way to do things. My technical background has proven that over and over and over again. That inspiration is great, but if you're doing something that you want to grow and to scale and to actually become an asset, it needs to have a very strict protocol that enables it to create predictable, repeatable profit that's scalable. And that's what I've created. And I'm calling it something that it ties in with the business operator, the experts, the professionals, the early stage founders and CEOs who are out there that are struggling, hustling, doing their thing every day, getting stuff done, and not taking the time to think about, okay, what do I got to do to make this work as I grow? And I'm thinking that, wow, this, some of you are just going to go, oh my God, this is amazing, because what we've got here is the ability to scale before you need to scale. In other words, set your business up so that it will grow even without you, because of the systemized process that I've created that's so simple that you can add scalability and dynamically create revenue so that you can have a life. You can be who you want to be. You can serve your customers the way you want to serve them and charge them more money and actually see fewer clients because you're qualifying them up front. But I don't want to get ahead of the story. So what I want to do is talk about this process, and it comes from my background and the people that I've associated with, great people. Um, One of the things I learned through an association with Bob Donnell, dear friend who's since passed, is uh, is this idea of learn, do, teach begets mastery. It's so powerful. And I've been learning so much the past few years, and actually now doing the things I'm learning. And as I'm doing those things, I'm teaching them out. And that helps me learn even more. And that helps me gain mastery. And it's a flywheel. And I love flywheels. I love flywheels. And I've incorporated several flywheels into my program that I'm talking about here today that's brand new. And it's okay. I'll tell you what it's called. It's called the Solo Growth Advantage. And where that comes from is solo growth is the solo operator, the business operator, the expert, the professional the early stage founder and CEO who's basically set themselves up in a business to offer a product or service or both that moves the needle for their clients, that gives them the ability to help and add value in their communities. But a lot of them struggle because it's not easy. Doing business it's hard. It's really hard to do it well and to do it right and to actually make a profit consistently is very challenging. And some people seem to get it right away. Some people just like fly into it and don't seem to have any challenges at all. But I've found through my experiences and my interviews and different things that the people that we see that are like that just have this easy road, are actually people who are really good at uh, communicating and associating with really good people. And I'm finding that their energy level is high because they see the world differently than most people. They spend every day seeking joy. They spend every day being grateful. They spend time on their bodies in improving their entity. They spend time with their families. They spend time with their spirits and their spiritual development every day. And they take the time to relax and manage their stress. And they sleep. They actually, it's not the hustle grind. The people I see that do the best aren't the hustle grind. Maybe they hustle grind a little bit, for periods of time, but on average, they have a very direct respect for their body and their body's abilities to to take care of them when they want to take control, and they find that those particular people find that when they release and let go and let their body just be without any direct this is hard to do without any direct influence from your mind, your body has the ability to really heal itself, take over, and find solutions for you. And if you listen to that, it's a powerful, very powerful skill. And so I've been working on all these things recently. And part of that work has evolved into this this course that I'm going to talk about today. I finally get to it. So with that, I'm gonna get into it. So let's see. I'm going to open it up here with this, and you see me down there in the lower left. Hello. And this is a little presentation. Let's see, there's 14 slides, so it's not that long. And it's called the Solo Growth Advantage. And what we're doing is we're scaling revenue without scaling headcount. Now, don't get nervous. What that means is what my whole thought here is that many businesses, when they get started, they get to maybe 50 to 100,000, $20 to $50,000 a month. They start thinking, wow, this is getting to be a lot and I need to hire somebody. So they hire a VA. And then they say, well, I need to hire somebody to handle operations, or I need to hire somebody to handle sales. And I need to hire a marketing company, and I need to hire this, and I need to hire that, because things are just getting so crazy. And that's a good problem to have. But my whole experience tells me that if you can possibly do it without hiring people, and now in the world of AI, it is absolutely possible. In fact, necessary, from my view, to create repeatable, predictable, and profitable systems within your business that can then be automated after they're working. And then you have an option of automating them with either hiring somebody or bringing in AI. And my thought is today to bring in AI first, and then the human when it's needed, when the human is needed later. So that's the whole premise here, is grow your business, scale your business first by creating repeatable, predictable, profitable systems, and then scale using AI and humans when it makes sense to do so. So the first slide here is replacing human labor with mechanical leverage, systems, and intelligence. So with that, we'll go to the next slide. And what we're doing here is we're talking about growing revenue without increasing cost. Right? So when you grow, in a lot of cases, especially if you're a solopreneur, that growth, dictates that you've got to add. You need help, right? You need to get some help. My observation dictates, though, that most businesses fail because they add labor faster than they can create systems that are repeatable, predictable, and profitable. So the demand creates chaos. Chaos leads to hiring because you're thinking, wow, somebody got to take care of this. And the hiring destroys your profit margins. You bring somebody in, if you don't have a system that's repeatable and predictable and profitable yet, the person isn't going to fix that. They're just going to do what they do. And if you don't tell them exactly what to do, that's profitable, they'll just do what they do, and it may not be what is profitable. So you end up making less money, even though you've got somebody helping you. You'll help, in quotes. But true scale requires that mechanical leverage. So you're executing revenue critical activities manually until predictability is built. That's the whole premise here. So revenue goes up and your mechanical leverage goes up and your labor stays level. So your profit goes up. That's what we're looking for. Output is increasing, profit is increasing, and your costs are staying level. That's what you want, right? So that's what we're looking to do here. So transitioning now, I would say, I'm saying here that people who, business founders and owners who go about this process of building their companies with the hustle model, I call the hustle model, that versus the solo growth model, is you're a gambler. You're a gambler versus a clinical operator. So I'm laying out this process here for the operational model matrix. And the hustle model is what you see there on the left column, where the sales motion is custom proposals and reinvention all the time. And the demand is push, output, outbound, out everything. Effort resets on a daily basis. You're putting out, social posts, for example, on a daily basis, and they just go out and out, and you're not really tracking them. They're looking at, well, I got more likes, and people are responding a little bit, but I'm not making any money off of that activity, but I think it's good, right? And the capacity that you have is human labor. You're usually in many cases, you're the bottleneck as the founder. And as you grow, that's a problem. And I'm sure you already know that, but how do you solve that? Well, I've got answers here. These are the problems that we're going to solve here in this presentation. Conversion. How do you convert these leads that come in, and what's your conversion rate? Right now, you're talking to people, and it's you're trying to sell them on something. You're persuading them on live calls, and you're finding that a lot of people ghost you. A lot of people don't show up. They have all these objections. They don't respond the way they should to the script, and it's a mess, and you really don't know how to fix it, but you just have to keep going. So you add more and more. You're always looking for more leads. You're trying to hunt down people to talk to. It's always a scramble and always a stressful thing. And then your pricing is another stressful thing, in that you need to make money, you need to make sales, but you're not getting the right people on the calls that close with the right price. So you end up discounting. and you discount more and more and more. You're getting into commodity zone. Your profits going down, and your hustle's going up, and it's a very uncomfortable place to be. I know I've been there, so it's not something that is really fun. And so uh, it goes against every principle that I believe most founders have when they start out. But they think, okay, I can bully myself through this. I can buoy through this for a short period of time, until we get to a point where it actually starts flowing and things are working. And it's just one more thing, one more little thing that will get me through this. And that's when you start getting into this, bright shiny object syndrome. It's like, oh, this will help. You can bring in this new toy or this new tool or this new course, and you take the course, and you're excited for a couple of weeks and things, and pretty soon you find out, wow, that didn't really help. Then you're back to the old grind again. But it's worse because you've gotten behind on things, and you're actually more in debt, and you haven't made any more money. We're here to fix that. This program is designed to fix all of those problems. So what is the solo growth model? Well, what we do for the sales motion is we take all those proposals that you've been doing, and we target one ideal client profile, and we single out one person, and we create an offer that meets all of their worst needs, all their worst case scenarios, and solves their pain in the fastest way possible. And it's a single standardized flagship offer that you don't have to think about at all, and people self diagnose on that. So they come in and they're pre-qualified. They're ready to sign when you get them on the phone during a sales call. And when that happens, it's so exciting. It's so exciting. But there's work to get there, and that's again what we're going to talk about in this course. The demand side is, instead of pushing outbound, you pull. You're pulling. So you create authority, and we have a process called voice equity, where we put you in a position of uh, creating authority for your business and yourself out in the market through strategy and specific messaging to your target audience. And we put it in locations that compound over time. So your voice becomes an equity or an asset, and we help you build that. The capacity you have from the hustle model is the human labor. What we're looking at here is systems leverage, and you can scale that infinitely. Once we get it narrowed down to one offer, we work with that, scale it up, understand it, get it repeatable, profitable, and predictable. And then we can scale it with AI and people. So the systems leverage of creating those systems is really the key. And then the conversion, again, when we're bringing them in, we're pre-selling them before they even see the offer. They're ready to sign if we're doing this right. So that's a very strategic but important thing to understand about what we're doing here with the Solo Growth Operating System. And then we do what that really gives you is pricing power. In the hustle model, you're discounting because there's stress, and you don't know where your next lead's coming from, and you're struggling to get more leads. The people that you're talking to are ghosting you. They're not showing up. They're not saying the right things during the sales call. They're asking you a bunch of questions about, this or that, and they're shopping you out all over the place, and they're just really not being cooperative in buying from you, and it's costing you a lot of time and energy. And the sales cycle is really long. So what we end up doing is reducing our price. But when we got this dialed in, you actually talk to fewer people, and you are able to charge a premium price for each of those, because you're actually solving a problem that they have and they want to solve now. So that's the key, and that's what we're doing here. So what are the physics of revenue? Let's talk about that for a minute. So I have this idea as a technical engineering type guy is that sales is math. Sales classes I've been to, they talk about being motivated and hustle and, get out there and make 100 calls a day and you know, be out there in the sales environment, getting your nose bloodied and just keep going, keep going, keep driving. And there's a lot to that, right? But uh, in perspective, after doing that for 40 years or so, I've learned a few things. And I know now that math is a critical element in understanding the process. And sales is a process, and it's math. Sales is math, not motivation. You can create a repeatable, predictable, profitable system with math. And every business bottleneck has a broken variable. And in this equation, you can tell which of those variables is broken. Um, so you don't grow by doing more. You don't grow by the hustle. You grow by identifying and fixing the broken variable. And the variables, very simple. There are four key simple metrics that we put into an equation. It's the opportunities. You've all seen this. If you have a business, you've got a pipeline, and you know what that's just a list of prospects that you want to talk to that you think might be a customer someday, right? So you've got this list, and there's a quantity of prospects in that opportunity pipeline, right? And then you've got win rate. How many of those that are in your list actually convert into customers? The percentage over time, say every day or every week or every month. How many of those convert into customers? And then what's the average deal size in of the people that are in your opportunities list? Each one of those is worth something because you're going to sell them something. They have a need. So what is that value? And can you predict that? So that's an aspect of this that we talk about. And then the sales cycle time. What's the speed? Is it a day? Is it a week? Is it a month? Is it 2 months? Is it a year, 2 years? How long does it take for you to close a customer on average? And so we look at the days because that's just a good standard way to look at it. If it's 10 days, if it's 30 days, if it's 60 days, if it's 90 days, that's great. And we can use math to determine a baseline and work to improve that baseline with the equation. So it's really pretty cool. It makes it very simple to manage your sales and marketing. So you go from guessing or being intuitive or having to getting the dartboard out and saying, "Well, I think I'll talk to this guy today," to actually having a high confidence level on what to do next and actually being able to close on business predictably, and then you can start delegating that right to either AI or to a person. So that's a really important aspect. Um, remember I talked about flywheels? Well, this is the flywheel. This is a closed loop system where linear effort is replaced by a compounding business asset. And these are the 6 modules that we talk about. The first one is position. And positioning is where you're showing up in your market. How are you showing up in your market? Who are you showing up as in your market? Where's your company fit? How do people see you and perceive you? Are you an expert? Are you just somebody else in the mix? Who are you? What's your position in the market? And then your offer. How well does that offer meet the need of the client that you're trying to help? So we work on offers and then the demand. How are you responding to the demand that's out there, and how are you creating demand for your company and for your people? If you have people so far, um, give them opportunities to succeed by helping them and create demand for them in your company. And then the conversion. How are you converting? How much of the business that you have in your pipeline and the value that you've got there, how much of that is converting on a regular basis? And is it predictable? Is it consistent? And once you've got these positioning and offer and demand and conversion going, then that becomes an engine. And then you can start scaling it. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about how to scale. We'll talk about scaling with AI. And we'll get into some of the latest and greatest technologies that are available to everybody, very reasonably priced and reliable to help you to scale your operation uh, so that you can increase revenue and keep your costs under control and down. And then the final is control, and that's a module that we talk about to look back on everything that you're doing and keep track of it and actually get feedback on it and inform the next cycle. You go back in and verify the position that you've got with the data that you're collecting in the control module. So this becomes a flywheel that self perpetuates and self grows. You put this in motion for your business. So this is module one. We're going to go through each of the 6 modules. Module one is position. So the idea here is to win before you compete. And to break this down, there's really 4 areas. And we talked about this a little bit already. Is like the first part is the specific who, the ICP, your ideal client profile. Who is it that you want to help? What exactly is their expensive pain? How much is it costing them to not fix it? That's a key question to ask and to answer before you meet them and have them understand that before you meet them. That's what's actually that's a that's a hint here. So what's the expensive pain that you're solving? And then what's your unique vehicle that you're bringing to the table in your market to solve that problem, to deliver the solution? And then what's your proof? You need to have some proof that it works. Social proof, peers, competitors, other people that are in the market that see what you're doing and say, yeah, that works. And you become the obvious choice, right? That's what happens. And there's maxims here for this module one positioning. And one of the maxims is you do not create demand. You align with existing expensive pain. So what does that mean? Well, you're not going to go out and persuade somebody to buy something that doesn't work. Well, you can try. But if there's somebody else out there that understands that pain better than you do and is delivering a solution that gets them to their desired place faster and cheaper, you're going to be out of business. So what you want to do is understand exactly what your ideal client's existing expensive pain is and align with that in your sales and marketing effort. And when you do that, you'll find that your clients will show up ready to buy. And you have to narrow it down. If you serve everyone, you win nowhere. That's counterintuitive. Most people think that, wow, I need to get more leads. I need more people in my pipeline. I need to have a wider spread because you're stressed about not having enough business to meet the needs of your business, to keep the lights on. So it's an important aspect of what we do in this course is really helping you to narrow this down and have confidence that when you serve a smaller number with a very high level of confidence, you can charge more and it costs you less to acquire a client. And then they become a lifetime asset for your company and also an advocate and a promoter, which informs the market in bringing in new leads that help you gain access to higher quality prospects. So it all this is the flywheel. It all works together. If you lack that contrast, you can't command premium pricing. You got to know what that contrast is, what it's costing them to not fix their problem. And when you get that output, that one dominant authority narrative that reduces the price resistance, shifting you from an interchangeable vendor, a commodity, an also ran to somebody who has a solution that I can shop out everywhere and get the best deal, to a vendor in a category of one. You are the company that has the solution and nobody else has it. And that's how you can charge more, and get what your value is when you're bringing to the table. But you got to understand it first and have that confidence. And it takes time. So that's what we do in this class. So the next module is the offer in that flywheel. And we create one offer to rule them all. That sounds pretty grandiose, I know, but it's actually true. When you define the value by the measurable outcome that you're achieving, it's not hours of human effort expended. So what you're doing is creating value based on what it's costing them to not fix the problem. And in marketing rules, when you want to do is justify in your marketing at least a 10x um, increase for the price you're going to charge. So in other words, if you're going to charge $1,000 for a solution, your marketing has to justify $10,000 to the client somehow. If you're charging 100,000, it's got to be a million. If you're charging a million, it's got to be 10 million. So that's kind of the table stakes to get involved here, but that's entirely possible, but you got to think about it. So you're eliminating the menu of custom services design. You're going to design a single standardized monetization engine. And the output here with this offer is a highly engineered flagship offer with outcome-based packaging that removes delivery complexity and prevents founder burnout. That's you, founder burnout. And you're probably feeling that. I bet you are. So what we do is we have a core offer mechanism. We bring to the market speed, certainty, and access, and we take risk away by creating milestones and performance guarantees. And that's the value stack ladder. And that's what the one offer to rule them all is made through. So module 3, demand. Replace hustle with pull. So the hustle model that we talked about earlier is push, push, push. Just get stuff out, get more leads, get more contacts, go to more network meetings, be out there, be everywhere all at once, and just hustle, hustle, hustle. And oh, by the way, you do have a family. Oh, by the way, your kid just had a birthday. Oh, by the way, your buddy's in the hospital, but you don't have time. So I'm sorry, but that's wrong. Replace hustle with pull. Demand, here's what it is. Demand is stored trust at scale. What does that mean? Stored trust at scale. Well, my friend, I mentioned him earlier, Bob Donnell, he used to say, he talked about social equity and relationship equity. And this is what it is. It's storing trust at scales. When you have relationship equity, somebody that and that knows you would do anything for you as a favor because they know you would do anything for them. And that's a relationship. That's equity that you've built. And it takes time, it takes effort. It's something that's very valuable to build over time. And it's not something to be squandered. You have to have ethics, and you have to be on your game, and you want to be constantly in a position to add value somewhere, everywhere. And so what we do here with this demand module is help you create that trust at scale. And it's outbound prospecting that typically resets daily. Well, we create an authority-based demand that compounds. We shift from random helpful tips kind of marketing to a convicted point of view that installs a new way of thinking, not only in you, but in your company and in your market. It creates a place for you that doesn't exist yet, that brings value to others. And it's locked right now inside your head. You're not putting it out because you don't have enough time. And that's a shame because you, as the founder of the company, have the most interest, have the most ideas, have the most ability to create that trust equity in your markets. And I have the way to get that done in a very simple, streamlined way that's very cost effective. So that's what we talk about in this module, creating demand. And one of the things that we talk about is this 12-week thought leadership arc. And we create specific strategic content weeks 1 through 4 with problem domination. And then we create solution framing in weeks 5 through 8. And then weeks 9 through 12, we have proof and conversion. And over time, that trust accumulates. And we put this content in places that will build your equity, build your voice equity over time. And it's exciting. It doesn't just disappear. We've figured out a way to use the algorithms in your favor from some of the platforms that actually attract the right audience to your content. But you got to be putting out high value content. Doesn't have to be a lot, but it has to be very valuable to the ideal client who then sees it, views it, shares it, engages with it, and that brings more visibility from the algorithms to your content, which enables you to keep growing, right? So that's the goal. It's not putting out tons and tons of crap every day. And it has to be in your voice. It has to be you. Anybody can create AI slop, and that's going out more and more every day. Who they can't replace and nobody can replace is you. And that's what we do. So we take your voice, your opinions, and help you to get those out very strategically so that your ideal client is reading it, seeing it, listening to it, and engaging with it, and you in a limited strategic way over time, and that brings your voice into a range of building equity and trust. And that makes it easier for the sales and marketing team and your messaging to get into the right places at the right time with the right message, right? So solving problems. The output is consistent, pre-sold, inbound lead generated entirely through intellectual property and narrative-driven assets. It's a fancy way of saying you get your stuff out there for the right people, and they'll listen to it and see it and actually respond to it. So it just makes sense. What's the next module? Module 4. This is the conversion module. This is pretty exciting. We're selling without selling. What? How do you do that? Selling without selling. Well, I kind of touched on it already. If you have to push, you built it wrong. Conversion is a systems equation. And here it is. Clarity times belief transfer times friction removal. What does all that mean? Well, the sales call is a diagnostic, a go, no go decision, not a live pitch. Many people use it as a live pitch, but the way we do it, objections must be neutralized upstream by your assets, by your marketing, not handled on that call. So the output gives you higher close rates on fewer strictly qualified calls. Wow. So there has to be a system in place to do that and be repeatable and predictable and profitable. So how does that work? There's a gatekeeper. There's a logic diagram here. Leads enter in, and the way this works in simple terms is, you create something of interest to your ideal client, like a lead magnet, something free that they download. They give you their first name and email address, and that goes into a database. And then that triggers an email sequence. Thank you for downloading my information. I look forward to getting to know you better. And then you ask them in that email string, if they're interested in anything or they have any issues or what else you can help them with, and you offer them to be to get ready for a call, a diagnostic call. And if they're ready, then your system sets them up with an appointment, validates that appointment, it qualifies them, and then when they're actually on the phone with you, they're ready to buy. So that's ideally how this should work. However, most people in statistics terms, in a market, you've got out of 100% people in this market, 3% of that market is ready to buy now. 67% of that market will buy at some time in the next 24 months. And the rest you don't really know. They could go either way. So we focus on that first 70%, and particularly we work now with the 3%. So those are the nows. And then you've got the nurtures, and then you've got the ones that you don't know. They may be called nevers, but I don't like to say that never, but uh, they go into a nurture program. So if they come in and they're interested, they're just curious, but they're not ready to meet, then you put them into a delayed access nurturing campaign where they get sent education, information, and proof, and you just get a relationship built with them. And then if they're not ready at all, then you send them to another less uh, less involved nurture campaign, fewer emails to go out. And eventually, if they don't respond to anything within a period of time, maybe 6 months, you pull them out of your database and you put them in a bucket. And in that bucket, you recycle maybe once a year. You pull those out of that bucket and you put them back in as a cold lead. And you send them something and just say, hey, just checking in and seeing how you're doing. Has your situation changed? Have you seen these issues? Do is there, if you're dealing with any of these kind of problems, well, we fix that, let's have a chat. So it's a simple process, but you've gotta make sure that it happens with everybody that's coming through. And this really simple process right here, the gatekeeper logic diagram, when you're processing the not readies, the curious, and the ready now, that's the way to make money, and do it in a way that's automated. So you're not missing calls. When somebody calls, I see this all the time. You call a company and the phone rings and there's a voicemail that answers, and you never see anything. Nobody gets back to you. It's like, what? So they're really not in business at all if they're just doing that. It's just crazy. So anyway, the next module is module 5, and that's the scale. And this is where it gets fun, because by the time you're here, by the time you're at this place, you have gotten a systemized program. When you start replacing labor with systems, if you're at that point and you're replacing labor with systems, then I think it's a healthy thing. Now, I don't really like replacing labor with systems, because that means somebody's out of a job, right? But you've got a business, and a business needs to make profit. So it's one of those things that you as the owner, you certainly have that choice. But uh, when you're looking at growing and using your capital and all the energy you're putting into making a solution happen for your clients, it's important to make a profit. So what happens when you move humans to systems? Well, today it really doesn't need to be, because as you're growing, you can put these systems in place. This particular system is so simple. It's been around forever. It's not AI really. So it's really something that you can do anytime, and should. When a lead comes in, it's basically the process I described in module 4, where the lead comes in, they fill out a form, give you their first name and email address. Your system should get back to them like right away. And then we, put them into a funnel program. If they're ready, if they're now, then they go into an appointment. If they're curious and they're just looking for information, you put them into that one. And then they get a multi-channel nurture. So they get, what's multi-channel? Well, that's emails. That's sending them to your Instagram account. That's sending them to a YouTube when you put up a YouTube video. It's offering them other tools and other like webinars or other things that you're doing, events, inviting them into your world and helping them by adding value. And then eventually you want to give them an option to book a call. But before you spend time talking to them in person, you want to make sure they're qualified and ready to buy now, if you possibly can. And then, of course, there's fallout. People miss appointments, they don't show up, whatever. You need to be able to follow up with those on an automated way. So that's the recovery. And all that can be done now very, very simply in many of these platforms that you can acquire for reasonable prices and have set up for you. So the output is an always on revenue machine that eliminates the need for an SDR or marketing hires. An SDR is a salesperson, a sales development rep. And so that's what I used to do. So that's an important aspect of this program is understanding the human versus systems elements and deciding which direction or which avenues you want to take for your business so that you can continue to grow and meet your goals, your profitability goals. So what's the next one? Module 6, control. This is the last of the 6 course modules, and it's a one lever decision engine. That's what we're building here. So we're operating using numbers, not feelings, not intuition, or how anxious you are. Well, we're not looking to fix everything at once. What we do is very systematic. We diagnose the broken variable with the opportunities, the win rate, the deal value, and the sales cycle time. We look at those variables and we diagnose what's broken. And you're only allowed to adjust one constraint every week in this program. And what that does is it forces you to look at this most important thing to fix now. And so that fragmented focus, as we all know, fragmented focus leads to random tactics, leads to, the bright, shiny object syndrome that I've been subject to way too many times. There's discipline in isolation, and it creates compounding results with the right systems in place. So that's what we're focused on here, is getting that all together for you, so you're able to diagnose the broken variable and fix one variable at a time. And over a really short period of time, you'll start understanding how this is all put together and how it's working much better than you ever realized you could in a very short period of time. You may be spending years of figuring out, oh, we'll just one more thing, and we'll do this, and this will work better. And maybe you get some small incremental small benefits, but over time, as your business grows, those benefits start fading away, because every new level, as again Bob Donnell used to say, every new level will require a new you. And that's the same with a business. It'll also require every new level. Next level will require a new business model. So you got to always be looking, where's that puck going, as Wayne Gretzky used to say. So if you're looking at your business, you go, well, I don't have enough opportunities. Well, you've got a demand problem. So you go to module 3 that we talked about, and you fix with module 3. Or you're not closing enough deals. You got a low closing rate. Well, what we do is we go to module 4 because you have a conversion problem, and we fix it there. Or if you don't have enough money in each deal size, like, how do I bring my deal size up? Well, you've got an offer problem. You don't understand your client enough. So what we do is we go to module 2 and we fix that. Or if you're saying that gosh, the sales, it's taking me too long to make these deals happen. Well, the first thing I look at is where's your trust? What's the trust gap you've got? And we fix that in the positioning in module one. So we have we have this all wired and dialed in, but this content is not taught uh, other than in some places like Silicon Valley, where I learned about the sales velocity equation. They were teaching it to the investors were teaching it to the founders of the companies they were investing millions in. So I kind of figured, well, maybe this sales velocity equation is valuable. So I started looking into it and actually using it, and it works. So this whole system, this whole program that I just am almost done telling you about, is built on that one premise, that one equation: the opportunities times deal value times percent win rate divided by the sales cycle time equals your revenue velocity. And you track that revenue velocity number over time. Every week you put that on a chart, and if that number is going up, your business is growing, and if that number is going down, your business is not growing. And it makes it so easy for the founder to diagnose what is going on with his sales and marketing program. And it's actually developed, it was developed to align the sales and marketing teams together to serve the client. And it works. Oh my gosh, it works really well. So my goal here is to help you understand it and learn it and become, the learn, do, teach mastery idea of the sales and marketing effort, so that you can dominate in your market and serve so many more people in a high quality way, make a great living, and have fun and experience the joy, appreciation, and gratitude that we all want. And uh, so there you go. I think we got this program going. I'm just delivering this first iteration of the program now to you, and so let's wrap this up. We got a couple more slides. So I have some clinical outcomes from real world case studies here, that I've worked with several people, and these are three that I had a great time working with. I'm still worked with Beverly Rubio. She transitioned from having scattered ideas to a fully structured offer and a 10x pricing strategy. So she shifted from thinking like a salesperson to thinking like an expert. That gave her so much confidence, and she's growing her company now. Phil Dublé, a B2B exit advisor. He's built a 4-tier offer stack and diagnostic centered funnel, which is really exciting. And he's reframed his narrative to reach the right people without the custom manual effort that we talk about. So this stuff works. And then completely different market in the investment real estate area. And rural land, big properties, 5 acres and above. Kaiser Bushman and her husband Dan at Grand Oak Realty, they streamlined a family real estate brokerage by implementing actionable step-by-step systems to forecast and secure increased business. She came to me kind of, in a um, just kind of a not knowing what to do state of mind. And by the end of our 4 weeks, she had a plan, and she was actioning it. And they've created some really cool marketing stuff, and they're actually starting to get some traction in her forecast. Her feeling about her forecast is much better now, and I think just doing that in 4 weeks was amazing for her. So what have we got here? The operator's code. There's principles involved, just like anything. And if you're going to learn, do, teach, these are the core principles to learn. Number one is people don't scale, systems do. So if you're struggling with a process that's not repeatable, predictable, and profitable, and you want to throw people at it to make it better, you're going to end up with a problem, more problems, less profit. So take the time to systematize before you scale. and make it work that way first. Number 2, one offer beats 10. If you're spending time creating different offers for different people, everyone not wants a custom proposal, um, maybe you should rethink that, because I'll bet there's a way for you to get access to your best clients, charge more money, and have a flagship core offer that you can have other offers, but 90% of what the business that you're doing is repeatable, predictable, and profitable with this core offer. And that's what you want to do. Um, Principle number 3 is that your authority, the trust you're building, shortens sales cycles. End of story. If you're not getting out there with authority content that puts you in a position to drive trust and engagement with your ideal clients, then you're missing out. That's all I can say is, like, why not? Why aren't you doing that? Well, maybe because you've never had anybody tell you that before, but that's the way to do it. And that's what we teach. Number 4, core principle: sales is math, not motivation. Man, I can't tell you how many sales classes and tapes and books and everything else I've experienced in my lifetime. It says, get out there, get up at 4 in the morning, get out in the territory, knock on those doors, make everybody know you're there, and don't let anybody go away without buying something from you. Get nose to nose and toes to toes with as many people as possible every single day, and never fail to make somebody smile. And it's like, oh man, that's yeah. Well, I guess it used to work, but it doesn't anymore. People are so bombarded with stuff, and so step back for a minute and let's look at the math involved and be smart about this. And it's not hard math. In fact, it's probably 7th grade math here, not even that, where you've got 3 variables on a division equation on the top, divided by 1 variable gives you an outcome. So it's opportunities times deal value times percent win rate divided by sales cycle time gives you the revenue velocity number. And you track that revenue velocity number on a regular basis. I say weekly. So you take it by the day, get your numbers every day, and you track that number over a week's time. And every week you look at it and go, where do I need to fix? Which of those variables is not firing the hottest? Which one's weak? And you fix that one first that week. You only work on 1 variable a week. That's the simple math. It's so easy. It takes the anxiety down. It enables you to think. It gives you that reassurance that, wow, I can do this. And I don't have to worry about where my next sale's coming from, because you've got this system going, and it's a repeatable, predictable, profitable process that you're putting in place, and it'll make your whole life better. Core principle number 5 is AI replaces roles, not strategy. What does that mean? AI replaces roles. Well, it has to do with replacing a systematized program, a systematized process. AI is not good at strategy. It's not good at understanding different variables all the time. Humans are, sort of, but AI will not replace something that's constantly moving around. So what you want to do is create, if you've got a human doing a process and it's consistently the same process week after week after week, that's a clue to bring AI in and put that one to work for you. And then you put the human on something that the AI can't do yet. And so that's the process. AI replaces roles, not strategy. And the last core principle is number 6, clarity. Clarity creates cash flow. How does that work? Well, when you're clear on your ideal client, you're clear on their major problems, you're clear on what it's costing them to not fix that major problem, you're clear on what value you're bringing to the table to deliver a solution that fixes that costly, expensive problem, and you can do it in a way that saves them time, effort, and brings them uh, personal, trust and equity, and that they can share that with others in their teams and also in the world, that you've got something really valuable there. So clarity is critical. And hang on a second. You're on the air. That's all good. I'm doing my broadcast. Okay. All right. Bye. So that was Lisa Laree, the rebel ballerina. So where were we? Oh yeah, core principles. The last one, clarity creates cash flow. That one's fun because when you get there, you're gonna go, wow, this is so cool. I'm so glad I did this because Jim, you were right. That cash flow is really fun. So, what are we doing here? What's the last slide? Finally, the last slide, number 14. So, the next step, if you've followed along here, is to find your exact operational bottleneck. How do we do that? Well, it's not a personality test. What it is an operator level constraint diagnostic. It's a fancy way of saying it's a way to ask you a few questions about your business in a way that gives you clarity, more clarity on what's going on in your business from the um, positioning, offer, demand, conversion, leverage, and control aspects that we just went through. So you'll discover precisely where your system is leaking revenue and what single variable you must fix first, to scale predictably before you ever hire another employee. So if you're interested in doing that, then contact me. Go on LinkedIn to James Craig Miller on LinkedIn, James C. Miller 1, and give me a DM. It's Solo Growth Diagnostic. Just send me a DM that says diagnostic, and I'll know what you mean. And I'll get you that diagnostic, and we can have a chat. So if you're looking to scale, if you're looking to grow, if you're looking to just get control of your business so you can sleep at night, I can help you. Take that diagnostic. It'll take you maybe 10 minutes to do, and then we can have a chat. I'll help you to assess what you've got, give you some ideas, no sales pressure, and I'll give you the full scoop on what I would do if I were in your shoes, and then you can take it from there. So thanks for checking in with this my first effort here uh, at talking about my solo growth operating system. I'm excited about it. I hope you can tell. I think it's going to be a really cool thing for a lot of companies. And if you happen to see this and you look at it and you go, "Wow, that's pretty cool," then let me know. And if you look at it and you go, "Wow, that sucks," then then don't let me know. No, tell me that too. I want to know because that's how I learn. I can take it. This has been 30 plus years in the making, so I know pretty confident that I've got this stuff down. Even the AI stuff, I've been working on that for quite a while, as I've followed it because, heck, when you've been working with companies like Apple and Microsoft and Hewlett Packard and Intel and Google, and those companies all move really fast, and that's where I came from. So those companies, if you want to play ball in their world, you got to stay up with their situations, and they change things quick. Um, but AI is even faster, so it's crazy. It's very fun though. I love it, and hope you're having an awesome day. And thanks for uh, watching, and we'll see you again next week. Next week. Oh, I'm excited about this. Next week on the show, I've got Dan Johns. Mr. Dan Johns is going to join me, and we're going to get in on a deep dive on not sure what topic Dan wants to talk about, but it could be building culture in a company. It could be hiring employees. It could be how to manage your supplier base. It could be bringing in clients. It could be managing your owners. It could be all kinds of things. So uh, Dan's a chef. He's an entrepreneur. He's a business owner. Very exciting guy. He's very knowledgeable. Has tons of experience, and I'm really looking forward to having an in-depth, deep dive conversation with him about whatever topic he wants to get into. I'm sure it'll be exciting. So join us next week, Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, right here on the Bold Leadership Story Show, where we talk about experiences shaping exceptional lives. And if you're interested in being on the show, let me know that in the notes. Just send me a DM on LinkedIn. James C. Miller 1 is my LinkedIn address. So just send me a DM there and let me know, if you want to be on the show. It's a live broadcast and it's exciting and fun, and we'll get your word out. So looking forward to that. I'm signing off. Finally, it's a long show, been over an hour. So enjoy the afternoon, and we'll talk to you later. Next week, 5:30 p.m. Be here. See ya.